Hi loves, welcome back to the channel Style by C. Today's tutorial will be on how to make these beautiful kimono jackets with a touch of African print. Do subscribe to the channel, share to friends, and don't forget to turn on your notification
So the
bell.
first thing first I did was to fold my fabric into two, which is this. Now I'm going to be inserting the full length of my kimono jacket. The full length I'm working with is 62 inches. Okay, so I'm going 60 to 62 inches. So I'm going to find it on this. So I'm going to be working with the whole of this fabric. So now I'm going to adjust this. So the first thing we're going to be inserting at this upper part is our shoulder line. That's what we're going to go ahead to do now. So at this point we're going to be inserting our shoulder line from here. So the shoulder measurement is 8. Then I'm going to come down to 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Now I'm cutting the back piece first. When I'm done cutting the back piece, I'll go ahead to cut out my front piece. And the neck width is 3 inches. Okay, so from these 3 inches, I'll connect it to my 1 inch shoulder slope here. Then the next thing I'm going to mark is the armhole to the armhole and my chest line. So divide your bust measurement by 6, add 1.5 inches to it. So this is where I have it. Then you divide what you have into 2, so you'll be able to curve your armhole. So from that point now, you'll be coming in by half an inch of your shoulder measurement. So from the shoulder slope, I'm going to connect to this way. And on the chest line, I'm going to insert my bust measurement, which is 8.5. Then I'm going to curve it in to the armhole, into the chest line. Having done this now, I'm going to insert my seam allowance, which is 2 inches. Okay, so the next thing we are going to be marking is where we're going to be having our waist measurement. Our waist measurement is going to be at 16. That is the vertical lines. This is 16 here. Then our hip is going to be at 24, which is here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and insert the round body measurement. So for our waist, we have 30, 7.5, 2 inches seam allowance. For our hip, we have 40, 10 inches plus 2 inches seam allowance, which is this. Now we're going to be connecting them together. So from the bust, which is here, chest line, to our waist. From our waist, we connect to the hip. Then from this hip now, we're going to be marking it down to the bottom of our gown. Okay, then we're going to cut this piece out here. So from here, I'm going to start cutting this out. From my chest line, from my shoulder measurement, I'm cutting down to my shoulder slope. From there, I'm going to cut into my armhole. I'm still going to come back to trim this off. Okay. Then from here now to my waist to the hip. Then we'll cut through to the bottom of the gown. So like I said, I'm still going to trim this. So for the bottom part of the gown, this way, So from the hip line, you drag it down to the base of the gown, that is the bottom part of our gown. Having done that, you also go ahead and cut it out. So this is what it looks like. We'll be using this now to cut out our front piece. So now I've placed my back piece on top of my folded piece, another folded fabric. So now if you watch closely, you see that we have 2 inches spacing before our front piece. I didn't place the back piece together with it. I left 2 inches space before the back piece. Reason is we're going to be having a joining of our Ankara piece on this. Alright, so that is why I have this. Now we're going to work on it properly. The first thing I'm going to do now, from my shoulder line, I'm going to measure down to 10 inches. So this is where my 10 inches is. Then from this 10 inches, I'm also going to come down to 2 inches. Now, this is what I'm going to do. This is where my shoulder line for my back piece, for my front piece lies. That is my neck width. From there, I'm going to be connecting it to this 10 inches first. This way. Okay. Then from this 10 inches, I'm going to be making a curve this way into my pieces like this. I don't know if you can see it clearly. So from 10 inches, I made a curve to that 2 inches I have. Then from there, I made a slant into the 2 inches allowance we have. All right. So this is what I'm going to have. Okay. So I'm going to now go ahead and cut it out. Now, from this 10 inches down to 2 inches, making a slant curve inwards, I'm going to be at this between the back piece and the front piece. Now we're going to be having at least half an inch for joining of our Ankara pieces. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have there. So now I'm going to go ahead to cut out this. So first of all, I'm going to be cutting off from the shoulder line first. Then I'll cut towards this way. Then from here now, sorry, my position, I'm going to cut down to the bottom. Then for our front, for our back depth, neck depth, we're going to be working with 1.5 inches for our back neck depth. All right. I'm also going to go ahead and cut it out. I'm going to go ahead to slit what I have open. So this is what I have for my front. I also cut out the side pieces. Our kimono jacket looks like. Okay. So the next thing I'm going ahead to mark is my pocket, because mine is going to be having a pocket in front. So from the chest line, I'm going to mark down to 10 inches. That is where my pocket is going to be. Okay. And it's going to be at least 8 inches deep. 8 to 9 inches deep. So I'm going to be working with 8.5 deep. and this is where it's going to stop. Okay, so I'm going to be fixing my pocket here. The same thing, I also mark on the other side of the front. So this is where my pockets will lie. I'm going to be inserting my pockets here. So having done this now, I'm going to go ahead and cut out. So guys, the next thing I went ahead to cut out is my pocketing, or my pockets, and this is what I have. Is about, let's say, it's 14 inches on both sides, both the length and the width is 14 inches. And I went ahead to fold it in this way, ironed it down. Now I'm going to be placing it on the 10 inches I marked. So this is where my 10 inches is. So I'm placing it on top of it this way. This is what I have. Okay. So now first thing first, I'm going to run a stitch here to close up this part, to hold it, stick it together, hold it down. Then I'm going to go ahead and attach these pockets on my dress, on my front piece. Okay, so when I'm done, this is what I have. This is what it looks like. These are pockets neatly placed. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to join my back shoulder and my front shoulder together. So this is my front and this is my back. Now I'm going ahead to join the two shoulders together. That's what I'm going to go ahead to do now. So after joining my two shoulders together, this is what it's looking like. The next thing we're going to be attaching is our band that is going to be in front. So what you have to do is go ahead and measure what you have round your kimono, starting from the down part, anywhere you want to start from, so long as you can be able to get the accurate measurement, is totally fine. So let's do it together. Sorry. So at this point now I have 120. Then I'm also going to measure what I have left. So from here I have 16 and a half. So 120 to this point, 130, 136 and a half inches. That is what we have. So our band is going to be 126 inches long. Okay. So for the band that is going to be in the front of our distance, so this is what we have. I've gone is 5 inches bold. So the band is 5 inches bold. This is what I have. Then when I fold it in, I'm going to be having 2.5 inches. All right. I went ahead to join as many as possible. Okay, to get the length of what we have. So this is what we have for the band. So now I'm going to go ahead and iron it down, press it so it to stick together. I had to cut out my band, and this is what it looks like. Okay, 5 inches on a fold, 2.5 inches on a fold, 5 inches when opened up. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach it to my gown, to the kimono. So I'm going to find the center point of my kimono and the center point of this jacket of mine. So this is the center of my band. Okay, this is where I have the center, and for my jacket, this is the center of the back piece here. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up from the center, place it center to center, center of this and center of this. Then I'm going to go ahead and run a stitch on it gently till I get to the bottom of the jacket. The same thing is also applicable to this area. All right. The thing I'm going ahead to cut out now is my sleeve. Okay, it's going to be 25 inches long or 26 inches long because of seam allowance. So these are start point line. Then we'll come down to 4 inches. If you are busty, you come down to 4.5 to 5 inches. So on these 4 inches now, I'm going to insert my bust measurement plus my seam allowance. Then I'm going to curve my sleeve. Okay, so this is what I have here. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is from this point now I'm going to be connecting it to the bottom of my sleeve. Now the sleeve is not going to be, the wrist area is not going to be penciled, it's going to be free. So from this point I'm just going to drag it down to the bottom of the sleeve. Now if you notice, the sleeve has a joining of an African print, a combination of an African print on it. So what do we do now is we're going to be dividing this sleeve. All right, so please, if you want to knit fabric, make use of a pattern paper or a lining piece. So for this now, I'm cutting out one piece of the sleeve first, then I'm going to transfer it to cut out another one because I don't want to waste the fabric. So from the start point now, I'm going to mark down to 20 inches. So this is where my upper sleeve is going to be, the one that is going to be the main fabric, this black print. Then this one now is going to be where I'm going to attach the African prints, the combination. All right, so we'll now go ahead and cut out this. So I'll be using this piece now to cut out another one, another sleeve. Then this part I'm going to use it to cut out my African prints. All right, this will be for my African prints. So for my sleeve, I'm going ahead to cut out the Ankara piece, and I've joined it to my upper sleeve, the first part that is the black piece. Now I'm going to be joining this to my shoulder line. Okay, so this is my jacket. I'm going to go ahead and fix the hand. Okay, go in by center to center and fix your sleeve to it. So guys, when I'm done, the next thing I went ahead to do was to shape my dress, to shape the kimono jacket. Sorry, I did this off camera. So the next thing to do now is to go ahead and weave your dress. Okay, then your dress is ready to be rocked. Thank you so much for sticking by.
Thank you so much for sticking by.